You know, I'd be the first to admit that playing with high-end video cards is an awful lot of fun, but I will also admit that it's not a lot of fun to sit there and constantly look at videos about products that you can't afford. So today we're gonna go ahead and talk about a new product from Gigabyte, which is the new GTX 950 Ti Xtreme Edition. It looks an awful lot like their gaming series edition, but we're gonna go ahead and see whether or not this 950 deserves the actual title of Xtreme. Putting the words Xtreme and 950 together seems to be a little bit odd. So let's go ahead and see if this guy even deserves the title. The Mastercase 5 and Mastercase 5 Pro from Cooler Master combines modularity with creativity, giving you the freedom to build it your way. Make it yours by clicking the link down in the description. Now you might notice immediately on the surface this thing looks an awful lot like its bigger brother series, the G1 Gaming, where it's got the same aluminum accenting here, it's got the WindForce logo that actually lights up here, it's got the silent light that turns on to tell you that your fans are running at low speed, because you know, as it's sitting like this in your case, you typically can't see the fans. I mean, if it was sitting like that, you could see it and you wouldn't need the light, because you wouldn't even be able to see the lights. But since it's sitting like this in most cases, you always know what's going on with the card because the LED indicators here will tell you. You've also got the stop light right here, which turns on to tell you that your fans are not turning at all, which is one of the benefits of these low power consumption cards, is you can get away with idle or 2D operation or even low demanding games with completely silent operation because the fans won't even turn on until they reach a temperature threshold, which typically non-demanding games won't even reach with these low power consumption cards. Now the WindForce logo does light up and it is adjustable using the OC Guru app from Gigabyte, where you can change the colors too between pretty standard colors. You've got blue, red, yellow, white, of course green, and then you've got purple and teal and a couple of other colors. I think there's 7 colors in total. Now for cooling, again, it uses the exact same fan blade design as the G1 gaming cards. Now there's only 2 of them because this is a very short PCB, so it doesn't have 3. But it also has a large aluminum heatsink, very lightweight though. It's a very lightweight card, running the length of the card, actually running past the length of the card, with a single heat pipe running in an S shape across the heat pipe, giving you a lot more length to the heat pipe, also giving you more heat dissipation. You do have a small heat sink up here on the front for the VRM delivery. It's not touching the main heat sink, but in all of my testing so far, it has not been running into any sort of cooling issues whatsoever on this card. The VRAM is also being cooled by the heat sink. So you have a lot of active cooling going on here. For I/O, it's the usual suspects. You've got your DVI, an HDMI 2.0, and then you've got 3 display ports on here. So for a small card like this, you can hook up a lot of displays if you want to have a lot going on, kind of like I do behind me over here. Now the GTX 950 is the smallest brother of the current lineup of Maxwell-based cards, if we're not including the 750 and 750 Ti, which are technically Maxwell-based cards. But we'll just say for the 900 series, the 950 is the little brother. It's the runt running around the room annoying everybody, saying, I want to play, and the big brothers are like, go away, leave me alone. So the specs are pretty much according, to the lineup. So it's got 768 CUDA cores. It's got a 1024 megahertz base clock and 1168 megahertz boost clock from the reference model. Obviously, this card is pushing that much higher. You've got 2 gigabytes of GDDR5 running on 128-bit bus for 6 gigabit per second bandwidth on there. This card right now at $179 has an amazing bang for buck at 1080p, and we'll go ahead and show you why I say that right now.
Transition.
All right, so I was kind of curious as to what exactly would make this an Xtreme card. And the only other thing I had to compare it to so far was the EVGA GTX 950 SSC. Now, as you can see here, if we compare these two cards, The 950 from EVGA is much bigger. However, they both have back plates, they both have dual fans, they have the same I/O on the back or output on the back. So they're very similar cards, although the Gigabyte does have the lighting on there. But other than that, they are pretty much identical in terms of the features that they offer. They both take 8-pin PCI Express power. I mean, they both overclocked to nearly identical frequencies. Same amount of RAM, same RAM speed even. So it was one of those things where, okay, what makes this thing extreme? Well, you know, I'll be honest, if you saw the benchmarks right now, this thing beat the 950 from EVGA in every single test. Even at stock speeds, which were, again, nearly identical, this thing was pulling out a couple of extra FPS in every single category. So I'll be honest, I don't know what it is that's making this card faster, but it is faster than the EVGA card. And you guys know I love me some EVGA, so it's not like it's something that I would just throw out there. But if you're looking for a small card, it's lightweight, it's got a backplate, it's got light on it, it's easy to fit in small form factor builds, and it comes with a lot of extra bells and whistles and blings that you otherwise wouldn't get in a card that's under $200, then you definitely should put the Gigabyte GTX 950 Xtreme Edition on your short list. Now, I had originally planned to, instead of comparing the two 950s, taking this 950 from Gigabyte and putting it against the Sapphire 380 Nitro card that I reviewed a few months back, but it became pretty quickly became apparent that that was going to be a bad idea. And the reason why I say that is the only 380 that I had the opportunity to benchmark, one was a loaner card. So I could not go back and redo the test now to see, just for the sake of continuity, if my results were the same the second time around. Two, the card was a 4 GB card, which made it more expensive than this card, so we'd be comparing two cards that are not in the same category of price, where the Nitro came in at $219 and this thing comes in at $179. So in order to do that test and make it properly apples to apples in terms of being price point comparison, I would have needed a 2 GB card, and I don't have that. So it really wasn't going to be very fair in doing that test because the price points were different and the amount of VRAM was different, which became apparent in all the tests. The 380 Nitro card was beating this card in every category, hands down, by quite a bit of FPS. So I don't know how much of that was attributed to the RAM, especially at 1080p in games like Crysis 3 and Witcher, which do like the VRAM. I just went ahead and threw that test out the window, and maybe I'll try and see if Sapphire will loan me a 382 GB card. Maybe the solution here is I just take all of the low-range cards that I have, 960s and 950s and 380s and 370s, and we just kind of do like a budget shootout on all the graphics cards. That'd be kind of fun. It would take a while to do all that benchmarking, but it'd probably be worth doing. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching today's video. Gigabyte 950 Xtreme card. I think we're going to be seeing more cards using the Xtreme nomenclature. I think they're planning on bringing that out to more cards. Hopefully we'll learn more about that here in the future. I'm curious as to what's going to make, if they do the Xtreme cards on the higher end models like the 970, 980, and 980 Ti, then what's going to make it different than the G1 Gaming. So I don't know if we're going to see that. I guess time will tell. Anyways, I'm gonna get on out of here. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope this video has helped you in some way. As you can see, you don't need to blow all of your money on a high-end graphics card to get a good gaming experience in games. You can, like Battlefield 4, for instance, as you saw, we were getting over 70 FPS once you overclock the thing. 60's no problem without overclocking it. So that means games like Battlefront will have no problems running on a 950. And of course, you can always SLI that later if that was your only option. But anyway, it's time to go, guys. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.